educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed.
Getting comfortable. Hello everyone. Oh, you can't see my mug because of the lighting. Here we are. Here's my mug of coffee that I've just made. That is so delicious if I don't say so myself. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. It is actually been a couple of weeks since I uploaded actually. I had last week off, as you all know, because we have been doing quite a lot of work in the garden. I needed a break. I needed a rest. So I have had a little break and a little week off. However, we're going to get into that later on in this video. Welcome back to another video and welcome to another monthly reset. June's monthly reset. Oh my goodness. I can't believe May is over and we're now in June. I do feel like this year is going past very, very quickly. Do any of you agree? You'll have to let me know below. So this monthly reset, I thought I'd just introduce it and then we'll jump on into it. We're going to be doing some cleaning, of course, organising, meal planning, meal prepping as well, and also going through my bullet journal and cash stuffing for the month. I deal with cash as opposed to card. I'd say 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time I do use my card, but I am going to be going through my cash stuffing system with you, what I do, what I'm saving for, how I'm saving and how I'm finding it. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you in this month's monthly reset. And then we're going to be doing some cleaning. Now, the cleaning in this video is very, well, I'll explain it actually when we get into it, but it's very simple. I don't want to say basic, but we're not deep cleaning this in this video today because I've just been low on energy. Mother Nature is on her way, so I haven't really had the energy to do a full deep clean, but I have still been able to do a light, just a light clean. So that's what we're doing. But I'll explain all of that when we get into that part of the video. And yeah, so I really, really hope you enjoy meal planning, meal prepping, organising, cleaning, bullet journaling, cash stuffing, all getting us prepared and ready for the month to come. So if you haven't already, grab yourselves a drink of choice. You can't see my cup again. There it is. There's my cup. Grab yourselves a drink of choice, sit back, relax, and I really hope you enjoy this video. And here we are, the first part of this reset video, which is when I'm going to be planning my meals for the upcoming week. I use a couple of different recipe books because, as you all know, I'm trying to lose the weight that I gained from my birthday. I have a couple of these Slimming World books, which I think one of them belongs to my father-in-law and the other I have had quite a long time. In fact, years actually, because I used to do Slimming World. And this is my new book that I've purchased for my birthday, which is by Emily English, and I love the recipes in here. Not only are they simple, but they also show you the calorie counting as well, which is where my phone comes in. I use the app MyFitnessPal to track my meals and to keep me on track with my weight loss. And what I tend to do is actually create recipes within the app, which you can do, and then it's a lot easier to just select the meals or the recipes that I've already created and add those to your daily meal track. So we're going to get onto that in just a couple of minutes. So once I found recipes that I want to have throughout the week, now Monday to Friday I do have the same breakfast, lunch and dinner throughout the week. Not only does that save me money, but it also saves me a lot of time and a lot of just energy, saves me energy in the kitchen, to be perfectly honest. And then Saturdays and Sundays we have a little treat. So once I have decided on what meals I'm having for the week, I then write it all down in the MyFitnessPal app, and I, like I said, track the actual meals and create recipes like I've just mentioned. So it makes the whole calorie tracking a lot easier. And we're actually going to be prepping one of these meals today. We're going to be doing the hot smoked salmon salad. That's a bit of a tongue twister, from the book by Emily English. And the first thing I do is I prepare my potatoes, new potatoes. I wash them thoroughly and then I cut them into smaller chunks, add some hot water to them and bring those to a boil. I will link Emily's book below if you are interested. It's actually really affordable. I think I purchased this book for $12.99 from Waterstones. It was, Waterstones I got it from, and I really enjoy it so far. These salmon fillets were pre-flavoured by Lidl, and I actually had them in the freezer, so I just got them out and defrosted those. And then it was time to make the dressing for the potatoes, and I used 0% fat Greek yogurt or Fage total yogurt 0%, and this just all combines together. And yeah, it was absolutely delicious. It was a really simple meal to make. I made enough to last me for a few days, so I made some for my lunch today and then my lunch for the next couple of days when I was at work. And it took, I would probably say, with the cooking process of the potatoes and the salmon, I would say about 30 to 35 minutes, or should we say 40? 30 to 40 minutes in total, but it was so quick and easy. It wasn't draining on my energy levels or anything like that. It was really great. Now, the dressing for the salad, I actually doubled up because, like I said, I'm making a couple of extra meals with this recipe today. So I just doubled up on everything. And once all the ingredients were combined in a bowl, I added a squeeze of lime and then mixed it all together and set that to one side. Once everything has been cooked and was ready, I then prepped my salad dish. I had to just get rid of those 2 lettuce leaves because they were actually not great. I just prepped all of this and popped it all into my lunch boxes, and then moved on to the cucumber, where I cut it in quarters and then diced it all up and added that to my salad as well. I added the creamy mixture to the potatoes to make that potato salad concoction, and this was so good. Now, I used to get this salad from Marks and Spencer's when I was, working in town, like in my city centre where I used to live. And not only was the salad expensive, it was really, really, really high in calories. Like, this meal, I would probably say, I think it's about 400 calories per serving. But I tell you something, once you've eaten this, you will be full for the rest of the day. This lunch was so filling. It was light as well, so I didn't feel sluggish or tired in the afternoon. It was absolutely delicious. And if you're interested, I will link this book below, and I would highly recommend looking at all of these recipes. No, before anybody thinks I'm not sponsored, I just bought this with my own money for my birthday, and I'm really glad I did. And the next part of this reset is the cleaning part, which I know you all loved in the last reset video that I did. Now, all I wanted to say is in this cleaning reset video, I'm not going overboard with the cleaning. I have to admit, my energy levels when I was filming were quite low. Mother Nature was on her way, like I mentioned in the beginning part of this video, so I just did a house refresh as opposed to a deep clean. I had already hoovered the house whilst I was filming this part of the video, so the house had already been hoovered, so I was just going round and giving everything a little clean. I lit a few candles and wax melts, and of course opened all of the windows. As you all know, I love having windows open, especially in the spring summer. Yes, I know it lets flies in, but they will eventually disappear. And here we have Arthie's toys, which he loves to get out himself, and here's me, his mother, putting them back, because he gets them out but he doesn't put them back. I then got in the recycling bin that had been emptied earlier that day, and then it was time to hang this washing out because it was drying in here, but it hadn't like fully dried, and it turned out to be a really beautiful day. So I made the most of it and took these little bits outside and hung them on the line. And can you notice the difference in the garden? Can you? Yes, the new fence is up. I talk about this a little bit later on in this video because we're not talking about the new fence right now, we're cleaning, so off we go. What I did mainly in this video is clean the bin, the kitchen bin. I don't know why I put my slides on for this part, but here we are. I've put my slides on to clean the bin. The bin sometimes does get neglected, I'm not gonna lie, and I just use a couple of biodegradable wipes just to give it all a really good clean on the inside. And obviously I empty the bin. We have I think it's called a Brabinter? Anyway, I can't pronounce it, but we have their bin bags that fit inside our bin, and yeah, it's great. What else can you say about a bin apart from it does what it says it does? And there's Arthie, who always wants to go outside at the moment with the weather being nice, but his little cat house is down at the moment from when we did garden work, so we actually need to put that back up for him. I popped a capful of the Zoflora into the bottom of the bin to stop any odours, and then popped in a new bin bag, gave it a spray with some Dettol disinfectant, and that is the bin all nice and clean for the next week or two. I then fill up the mop and bucket. Well, this is the bucket. The mop is right there, as you can see. And it was time to give the floors a lovely, good polish and mop. This mop that I got from B&M is honestly my favourite mop I've ever had in my entire life, because you can't see me doing it at this point here, but you put it in a little hole and press a pedal and it wrings it out. It was so cheap as well. It wasn't expensive. I think it was 20 quid, but it was the best 20 quid I've spent on a mop. Like that, see what I just did there? It wrings it out. It's so good. If I can link this mop below and find it, I will. And if you're in the market for a new mop in your life, I'd recommend this one because it's fantastic. I love it so much. Arthie also likes to get involved with mopping. He just likes to get in the way. Then once I mopped the floor and I was letting the floors dry downstairs, I went upstairs and I organised my bag for work the next day. This bag I've had for quite a long time and I really, really love it. My dad actually got it for me and I think it's actual real leather, but it's really lovely. It holds so much because it has several compartments, and that's my work bag all sorted and organised. And I was just sorting out the dresser. I didn't do too much cleaning in here today, as you will see. I just tidied things up a bit. Like, is it called a surface clean? I'm not too sure really, because I did hoover and mop and I cleaned the bathrooms thoroughly, so let's just call it a general clean. I then went round everywhere with my super duper flash duster. I absolutely love these so much. It does what it says on the tin. It is a dust magnet. That's exactly what it does. It picks up every little bit of dust particles that you might have, and it's just so good. It makes life so easier. And even if you have a chronic illness, or if you don't have a chronic illness, or you're busy, you're a mama, you're whatever life throws at you, make your life easier. I mean, I definitely do not clean my house thoroughly all the time, every week. I don't have the energy, I don't have the time. I quite frankly want to do other things as opposed to just cleaning all the time. And yeah, I just probably do little light cleans like this more so than I do thorough deep cleans, because yeah, as I've just mentioned, I sometimes don't have the energy or the time. We did organise my bedside table though, and I popped in my glasses and a book that I'm reading. I'm reading the sequel from Me Before You? Yeah, the sequel, so it's called Me After You. And so far, it's okay. I haven't quite got into it yet, so I'll give you an update or a review on that one. I then spray the bed with this Febreze fabric spray, which smells delicious, and then it's time to go into the reading room and give everything a little polish and a wipe down. Again, just with the flash duster mop, and just give everything a little once over. And yeah, other than that, the house, to be honest, because it's just George and I who live here, the house doesn't really get untidy or messy or dirty. I generally keep on top of it where I can, but there are times where I go a week or two like without doing a massive clean, and do you know what, everyone, that's absolutely fine. Like, don't feel guilty that you haven't cleaned your house in however long, because it just doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Just, you know, clean your house when you want to clean your house, when you can clean your house, and that's all there is to it, really. So this was where Arthie sleeps, so I always make sure I just fluff up the cushions and put everything back so we can sit down, and then when we close the house at night, I make sure the cushions are put down because that's one of his little beds. I then dust. See, that little like shelving unit, I very rarely dust that, and it doesn't really get dusty. So I'm actually pretty grateful for that. And that matchbox had a picture of a cat that looked like Arthie, so of course I had to buy it. Moving now into the kitchen. Now, you've seen me clean the kitchen quite a few times now, so I don't film as much of what I usually do, but the kitchen, I would say the kitchen and the bathrooms are the three main places in the house where I thoroughly deep clean on a regular basis. A, because we use the toilets and bathrooms all the time, and B, we also use the kitchen all the time. I use the kitchen all the time, so we cook and eat things on there, so it's really important we keep that nice and clean. And once all that's done, I make a batch of cookies because these are George's favourite, so I make a batch for him and for me. Of course, I do have the odd one or two here and there, and you're going to see that in just a second, where I make a delicious coffee, which I think I rightly deserved after all my efforts of cleaning, and I definitely enjoyed 2 of these cookies. They were absolutely delicious. And then I took these upstairs, and it's ready to move on into the next part of this reset. And with that coffee, although you can see a tea in this picture, so you can quite clearly see I filmed these parts of the video on separate days. This was actually an evening part of the video that I filmed this, and we are going into the bullet journal section of this reset. Now, I know a lot of you love my bullet journal setups and what I do, which we covered that in last month's reset. This month's reset, what I'm doing is sharing with you all how I plan in my bullet journal and what I do in my bullet journal, what I use it for. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm getting my diary that I take with me to and from work, and I'm marking out the days that I work and also what events and things I've got on throughout this upcoming month. I use this with these pastel highlighters I got from Amazon, so if you are interested or would like any, I will link them below. I'll try and link as much in this video as I'm using below. I'm not sponsored by any means, but I know some of you may ask where I've got some of these items from, and yeah, if I can, I will link them. So what I do is, obviously, I write out in my little calendar what I'm doing for the month, and then as you can see there, I was mapping out my habit tracker, writing out my things I want to do for June, and now we're moving into the weekly spread. And what I'm doing here is marking out what days I'm working for this upcoming week, and then marking out what things I need to do or get done, or if I've got any friends or family that I'm seeing that week. And this is kind of how I plan out my bullet journal. You've seen me set it up and design the front covers, but this is how I actually use my bullet journal. I use it more as a diary at home, and then I have my other normal diary that I take to and from work. Like I mentioned last time, this is just a lovely artistic creative outlet for me, and I really hope you enjoyed coming along with me on this part of the reset as well. Would you like to see more bullet journal stuff? Let me know. The next part of the reset we're moving into is the cash stuffing. Now, I haven't done a cash stuffing routine with you all before, so I really hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed filming it. As I've mentioned before, I try to use cash where possible, and it also helps me to save and not spend as much money. I think if all this was in my bank, I would lose track of where everything is and I would just spend it all, to be honest. Whereas when I have it in cash and I keep it in our safe in the house, I A, forget that I have it sometimes, and B, I am able to save so much more money, which is fantastic. The first wallet we're doing is Arthie's emergency fund and food, and he had £15 carried over from last month, so he's a good boy, and I added £20 to his little wallet. I then use my bullet journal and I highlight, which indicates that I have taken that money out in my budget tracker, so I know what I've spent and what I haven't spent. The next part is the home updates fund, and this is actually getting £120 this month because we are having some work done to the house and George and I are actually going halves. I ended up using all of my £20 notes, to be honest. With this, I've figured out when I counted all this out, I had way more than £120. So I put a couple of those notes to one side and I just put away £120 into the home improvements wallet. So I had this money left over, which I just added back to the pile, obviously the right way round. So the next wallet we're moving into, I believe, is the Big Birthdays Fund, and I'm trying to save as much money as I can, as I've got a family member who's got a big birthday next year and I want to take her somewhere really lovely. I've got £100 saved so far, all in £10 notes. So yeah, I'm trying to save £50 a month for her birthday next year, and I'm really looking forward to taking her away. The next wallet is Christmas, which is getting £30 this month. George and I usually go halves. I make gifts at Christmas, so we try not to spend too much money at Christmas. It's just like little token gifts. Then we have the grocery wallet. Now, I've actually changed this, which you'll be seeing in just a moment. I've decided with my groceries to use my card this month and keep my money in my bank for groceries, because sometimes the self-checkout cash area is not actually available, which is really inconvenient. So instead I just changed it to I've changed this wallet to Big Birthdays. So I took out the £100 and then the normal birthday wallets I just kept in my £20 that I had for that. There we go, so less awkward there. So the Big Birthday wallet, which is this one here, that's getting the £100, and then the normal birthday wallet has got the £20 in. We're next moving on into the coffee and food out, and I managed to save £15 from last paycheck, so I just added my usual £50, I believe. So I added all of that together, or was it 40? I think I added £40 to it. So in total we have £55 if I want to buy coffee, cake, or have meals out or contribute, then that's that. Then we have the final wallet, which is the dentist fund, which has £60 in carried over because I can actually claim back some money from my dental appointments. And what I last claimed, I got £80 back, so that was fantastic. I saved £60 and I had £20 put into somewhere else. So I added another 20 to make it up to 80. I hope that made sense. We now have the money left over. If we flick to the front of the money wallet, I've actually got an envelope which is future outings, and this is for June. Now in June I'm going to the Cat Cafe with my aunt, which I'm so looking forward to, and it's also mine and George's wedding anniversary, so I'm putting some money aside, and I find if I put it into this envelope I definitely won't spend it apart from on my events because it's actually separate. So I put £40 away for the Cat Cafe that I'm going to my aunt's, and £20 away for mine and George's wedding anniversary, and then I'll just get it out as and when I need it. And I put all that in my money wallet binder, and that is my cash stuffing. I keep it, like I said, in my safe in our house, and it's really great and I love it. And like I said, it keeps me accountable for what money I have. I love that if I can carry my money over to the following month. And yeah, I've been doing cash stuffing for a long time now, and I've really felt it's been beneficial for me anyway. The last thing is to put money aside for the week to come, which was £5 this week because I was having some coffee and cake out, so I put that straight into my purse actually, and that is the cash stuffing. I really hope you enjoyed this part of the video. Would you like me to do cash stuffing in next month's monthly reset? Please let me know below what you thought and what was your favourite part, and we're now going to jump into the goals section of this video. And welcome back, everyone. So I really hope you enjoyed that part of the monthly reset, the cleaning, organising, meal planning and meal prepping and cash stuffing. I told you it's going to be a long video, so I really hope you've got a drink and maybe some snacks even. We're now going to jump on into the goals and reflections part of the month. So how was your May? How was it? Did you all have a lovely, wonderful month? The true start of spring where everything is flourishing and growing, and the weather in the UK is slowly but surely turning nicer and nicer. So you'll have to let me know what you got up to down in the comments below and how your month was. My month was absolutely wonderful. I had such a lovely May. It went by so quickly. As you all know, I had my birthday because I shared my birthday with you all on my 2 vlogs. So that was absolutely wonderful. I spent time with family, friends, and some time alone. Not a lot of time alone though, to be fair. I was with people like pretty much all the time throughout the month of May, which was so lovely. It was really nice, and all I can say is it was mainly, to be honest, it was mainly my birthday month. So I just thoroughly enjoyed that time, spent time with family and friends, and yeah, just basically enjoyed my birthday. Loved going into St Paul's Cathedral. That was absolutely magical. That was probably, I would say, one of the highlights of May is climbing to the stone gallery in St Paul's Cathedral. Like, that is definitely a massive achievement with somebody who has got multiple sclerosis or any sort of chronic health condition. I was really chuffed with myself about that. I was really happy. So the goals I set myself for May, I'm just going to go through them with you quickly, and then we're going to move on into June. So the goals I set myself for May were to continue having coffee in the garden on nice days, continue to reduce ultra processed food or just reduce it, continue daily walks with George, read and journal in bed at night, enjoy birthday and all adventures, and add to my emergency and bed fund. So, continue to have coffee in the garden on nice days, which, yes, I did that primarily throughout the beginning of May. Towards the end of May recently I haven't, but that's because we've been doing so much in the garden recently over the last few weeks. It has been all go in the garden, which I will get on into in a few moments, but I haven't been sitting in the arbour recently because obviously it's just been a bit chaotic out there, so I haven't, but I will get back in the garden sitting out there with my morning coffee very soon, because things are slowly but surely all coming together. Continue no ultra processed food or reduced. I would probably have to say no to this one. I haven't, because I haven't. I have been cooking and looking for things to cook from scratch. So yes, I have been doing that. Have I eaten Kinder Buenos throughout a month of May? Yes. Have I had caramel macchiatos? Yes. There are definitely areas in which I can improve on with ultra processed food, and focusing on eating and drinking things that are like whole, like are homemade, that have got no additives in them. So I think I'm just going to take that forward into June. Continue daily walks with George, which, yes, George and I, unless it's absolutely pouring with rain, George and I go for a daily walk every single day, and it not only helps him wind down from his busy day at work, but I just love spending time with him, and going for those daily walks is just a treasure to me, and I really enjoy them. And to be honest, I think we've calculated it that it's like just over a mile that we do a day. So yeah, so that is really great, which I love. Obviously that's going to continue. The 4th goal was to read and journal in bed at night. No, I haven't. I don't know whether I'm going to migrate this into June. I'm not too sure, because sometimes when I get into bed, I literally go straight to sleep. I'm so tired, so I literally just go straight to sleep. But there are other times when I'm a bit more awake, and then I look at my iPad, and at that point I could read or journal. So I'm just going to migrate that one into June. My fifth goal was to enjoy my birthday and all the adventures, which yes, I did. And then the sixth goal is to add to my emergency and new bed fund. New bed fund, yes, I did do that. Emergency fund, oh, everybody, I dipped into the emergency fund and it wasn't for an emergency. When my aunt and I went to London, we went to the ticket office and we could upgrade our train tickets to first class to London for £45 each, there and back. So I dove into it, and I was a bit naughty on my birthday, I'm not going to lie, throughout that birthday. But, you know, I've already added money into it because I've just been paid. So there's already been money that's gone back into my emergency fund. So I'm over the halfway mark to that £1,000. Let's just leave it at that with that one. But I'll just keep adding to it every single month. And they are the goals for May. I struggled to set goals for May, if I've got to be honest, because I had my birthday. I had 2 weeks off work and I kind of just wanted it to be a floaty month. I didn't really want to be regimented with any goals throughout the month of May because everything could change. I didn't actually know what was happening with my birthday and throughout the month, and it was just difficult to set goals. It was just a little bit more tricky. So yeah, the goals that I set myself were great and I did achieve quite a few of them. But those ones that I didn't, then I'm not overly worried about them. I'll just migrate them into June, which is where we're going to go into. So as you'll have seen, writing in this diary or in this bullet journal and going through the budget and the cash stuffing system, we're now going to talk about the June goals. So I've set myself 5 goals for June. At the end of June, everybody, we're going to be we've done goals from April to June, and then we're going to be doing July to September. That's crazy, isn't it? I think I'm going to do goals. So July, August, September, and then October, November, December. Isn't that crazy to think that at the end of June I'll be looking at the April to June goals and reflecting back at them. That'll be so interesting and so cool. I do flick back through them and have a look at them, and it'll be really interesting to go back all the way to January to see how those goals were and where I'm at now. So I think I might dig out my old bullet journal and just have a look back at those goals and just see if anything has come into fruition or come to pass. That's just quite fun. Anyway, the goals I've set myself for June are: do more in the garden, plan new raised beds. Number 2 is to have calming evenings, Epsom salt baths or read. Number 3 is to have our bed fund up to £700 or £800. Number 4 is to add to my emergency fund. And number 5 is to invest in our home. So let's talk about it. So I've mentioned now we've been having work in the garden done. When I say we've been having work, George and I have been well involved with this work, which is why I needed last week off, because let me tell you, it was work. I was tired. George has been tired. But it's been so rewarding and so lovely to get stuck in and muck in and help people, everybody. We've been really fortunate. We've had family members come and help us. We do a lot of this work. We've had our new fence finally up, everybody. Oh my goodness. Our new fence is up. I'll be sharing some pictures on the screen now of how it started and how it is now. So yeah, having the fence put up, the first thing we had to do was remove the hedge, the next door neighbour's hedge. Now, that side of the house is our side on the deeds of the house, so that is our side. He's an elderly gentleman and he struggles to cut the hedge every year. He just finds it's too overwhelming for him. So we offered to just remove the hedge of its entirety, and we were going to replace it with a fence anyway. And he said that he was absolutely fine with that and it would help him a lot because then he won't have to worry about cutting the hedge. But oh my gosh, everybody, let me tell you, this hedge was just a nightmare to remove. It was just so much. There was so much. There was decades of hedge that had been planted in this little strip, and it was hawthorn and blackthorn. And if you don't know what they are little spikes, little demon spikes surrounded by greenery. So you can't see the spikes of these hedges, but they're there and they're out to get anyone who tries to get them. So that was a nightmare, but we did it in the end. And using my uncle's little micro digger and dumper, we got rid of the old hedge. All the old fencing was removed and we fitted our new fence. And isn't it beautiful? Doesn't it look absolutely fantastic? It makes the garden seem so much bigger. So that was so lovely, and that was a whole weekend job. That took the entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, and part of Sunday. It was a big job. And then the last weekend that's just been and gone, we have removed. We had a concrete barbecue. The previous owner built this concrete barbecue, and if you like barbecuing, fair enough. But if you don't, it was an eyesore, and we wanted more space in the garden, so that was removed. My stepdad managed to bash the top of it with a sledgehammer, but that was work in itself. And then my uncle borrowed one of these picker machines to pick away at it, because it was solid concrete. There was 2 pillars, which you'll have seen, that was solid of concrete, and metal rods and other bits of metal just shoved in here, there and everywhere. We've managed to remove 1 pillar so far, and that took George and my uncle a whole day, 9 till 4, removing this concrete pillar. And bless them, they were so exhausted afterwards that they go to do the other one on a different day. So yeah, that is going to have to wait. But already looking at the garden, looking at everything, it already looks so much bigger. It's going to be amazing. The one thing we do need to do is put Arthur's house up, because that is not up yet and he's desperate to go outside. So I'm going to ask my uncle, or maybe me and George can put it up together one weekend when we're off, so that Arthur can go back outside. And then, yeah, getting rid of the other concrete pillar. And then the next one is having my greenhouse delivered. So, yeah, but like I mentioned in previous videos, I'm in no rush for the garden. Rome wasn't built in a day. When it happens, it'll be like the best timing. It will all just fall into place. Everything will work out. And I know that the Lord has got great plans for us, and we are just to follow his path, follow his guidance, and he will provide. So that's what we're doing. So yeah, so whenever the rest of the garden is updated, I will obviously let you know and bring you along. But that's the new raised beds we're going to be having is in the little corner where I grow my fruit bushes and stuff. So we're going to be doing a bit of that. But again, that will be in times to come. Anyway, the 2nd June goal, I could talk about the garden all day long, but the 2nd June goal was to have calm evenings, Epsom salt baths, and read where possible. So that was migrated from May into June. Number 3 is to have the bed fund up to £700 or £800. So yes, we should have that, and that will be fantastic. We're hoping by September to have enough money and enough funds to be able to purchase our bed and mattress. So that'll be really exciting. The 4th goal is to add to my emergency fund, which yes, I can already tick that off because I've already done that. And the 5th goal is to invest in our home. So investing in our home. We are, now that we've got our new fence, we are actually having cameras put up. We're having a camera put up at the front of the house and one at the back. The reason why we're having this is because eventually in the future, at the full length of the back garden is going to turn into George's at-home office. George works from home full time. So we want to create something for him that he can go to work sort of thing. So he'll go out to the office, work in the office, and then he'll come home, and then the man cave, which is now his man cave / office, he'll be able to just relax in there and just chill out in there. That's God willing, that's what we're asking the Lord. That's what we would like to have. So yeah, I know one day that will come into fruition as well. But the other thing is ages ago, We had a little wooden windmill at the front of the house as decoration that my mum kindly gave me. And one night we heard all this talking, and I thought it was the neighbours at first. I thought, oh, they've got visitors, that's fine, whatever. But then they were so loud, and I was like, they sound like they're right outside our door. Like, I wonder if they want to come talk to us. And I just happened to look out of the window, and there was a man and a woman that had walked up our drive and were checking out the windmill. Like, they were looking at it as if and I thought, that's crazy. So obviously we moved the windmill to the back of the garden first and foremost, and that kind of prompted us to like invest in cameras, which is a good idea because we have got quite a lot of technical equipment, electrical equipment in the house that people could class as valuable items, I suppose. So yeah, and it also gives extra security for the neighbours. Both of our neighbours are aware that that is what we're doing, and they're both elderly. And they were really happy with it. They were happy that we were just getting that extra added security. They said they've never had any problems, but you just don't know in this day and age now. So they were really happy about it as well. So yeah, the new cameras are being installed on the 16th of June. So we'll have our new cameras fitted, and that is investments into the house. So goodness gracious me, it's been nearly 16 minutes and I've been waffling. So yes, let me know below, are you setting yourself any goals for June? Let me know. And I really, really hope you have a wonderful June. Do you have any plans for your month? Let me know as well. What am I doing in June? I've got time with family and friends. My aunt and I are going to visit a cat cafe in Lincoln, which I'm really excited about. I've got a haircut, hair appointment, nails. Oh my gosh, literally, how did I forget this? A really big event, mine and George's wedding anniversary. I don't know why, it's like written in my diary, in my bullet journal, but it just kind of like wafted over my head. But yeah, me and George have been married for 6 years this month. So we're going out for dinner on our anniversary and probably then have breakfast at home the next day. But yeah, it's mine and George's wedding anniversary this month. So that'll be lovely as well. But I'm going to stop talking now. And yeah, as you're watching this and I'm filming this, I'm actually going to edit this video now. So I'm going to do that and have a lovely Sunday. I'm actually filming this on a Sunday and you're watching it on a Sunday. So I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to give it a thumbs up if you did like it. Leave me any comments down below. And thank you so much to subscribing to my channel. I'm so grateful to everyone who subscribes. If you are new, make sure you hit that little red subscribe button. I film videos every single week on a Sunday relating to simple living, homemaking, sharing the simple joys in ordinary life, and monthly resets thrown in there as well. So stay tuned and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.